All right, so I want to talk to you about imperfect action. Imperfect action is a very powerful context from which to learn new things or do things that scare you. Um, Falling in love with imperfect action is a practice that I took up that has allowed me to even post this video right now. I've never done any kind of speaking or anything like this before. I've never made a video for people that I'm going to be putting out into the public. I've never done anything like this, and I feel like it's going to be terrible. And at the same time, I'm allowing that to be part of the process. And that is the essence of what imperfect action is. And I really believe that if you allow yourself to fall in love with imperfect action, then you can take any action you've ever wanted to. You can learn any instrument, ask anyone out on a date. You can get any job. You can do really anything you want as long as you allow yourself space to be terrible in the beginning or even in the middle when it gets really hard. Because one thing that people do is when things are hard in the beginning, they give up. Or when things get hard in the middle, they give up. Or when things get the hardest right before the end, they give up. And I think a lot of that can be avoided if we take a look at something which I call imperfect action. The ability to do something and to not be very good at it and to do it anyway. And there are many different reasons why this is valuable. First off, because the stuff you want to do will get done. You know, that in itself is fantastic. If you're someone like me that is trying to to start something like this, where I get to reach out to people and share what little bits of knowledge and wisdom that I have, and hopefully have an effect on the world. You need to be able to be okay with imperfect action because you're not always going to be good at things. Um, so that's the first part. Is it's great just for getting things done. And then the deeper, more broad aspects of it are it allows you to deal with your fear of rejection. If you're able to do something that you really want to do, that you feel is extremely important and valuable to you and to the world around you, and you're afraid of being rejected, there's a chance you might not ever end up doing it. That's why we don't take theater classes if we want to take theater classes, or do public speaking if you want to do public speaking, or anything like that. Even wear certain clothes that you want to wear, but you're afraid you're going to get rejected, or ask for a date, or ask for a raise, or whatever it may be. But the idea of imperfect action, the idea of allowing yourself to get something wrong, giving yourself space for that and loving it and having it be your best friend and your companion and ally through life will help you to deal with your fear of rejection. And that is absolutely incredible. I mean, that in itself could free you from so many things this world um, can so often keep us down with. And the other thing is, if you can fall in love with imperfect action, then you can fall in love with imperfection itself. And the beautiful thing about falling in love with imperfection is that everyone everywhere is imperfect. Everything is imperfect. And if you can fall in love with the imperfections, and if you can fall in love with all of that, then there's really no boundaries or barriers to what it is you can fall in love with. No longer in a romantic relationship where you have parts of your partner that you just can't love. You love this person, but they do that one thing that you can't stand. I'd be willing to say that those things disappear. And that goes with just about everything. So your ability to stand up for what you want and to express your needs and express your desires and be willing to look foolish when you do it. Not only will that give you the lasting happiness and fulfillment of knowing who you are and what you want in the world, it'll also give you the courage to ask for it and the grace to be able to deal with possibly not getting it or having to work a little bit harder. And also it'll allow you to take up your practices, the things that mean a lot to you, things you always wish you could do, but you're no good at it, or whatever it is you may tell yourself. All these things start disappearing and your connections with people become a little bit more real because you're no longer afraid to say the things that need to be said. And so these are the gifts that imperfect action can give you. And so what I want to do is I want to ask you right now, what is one thing, just one thing for right now, that you've always wanted to do, that you've been too afraid to do, or that you think you can't do, or you've been held back for whatever reason? Just take a minute to think about that. And when you've got it, I want you to think of one thing you can do that you don't even have to be good at, that can get you one step closer to doing that one thing you've always wanted to do. And the reason I want you to do this is because you doing the things that make you happy is what this world so sorely needs. We need you to be happy. We need you to come alive. The only way we're going to get out of this predicament that human beings are in right now is if you and everyone else wakes up to who they are, what they love, what makes them happy, and is willing to do whatever it takes to make them happy. And if that means being terrible at something, if that means being embarrassed, if that means getting rejected, however many times, if that's what it takes for you to come alive, I think it's worth it. And I'm willing to help you take that journey. So I hope this has been helpful in one shape, way, or form. I hope you're able to think of one thing you can do to step closer to your own happiness for the good of yourself, me, and everyone else around us. And I hope you reach out for help if you need help, because this is something I want for you. So go and do it.